Does the silence of the Anatolian plains still hold the echoes of a tribe that changed the course of human destiny forever? Can a single dream, dreamt in the shadow of a nomad tent, bridge the infinite distance between a crumbling past and a glorious future? How did a small band of warriors transform the dust of the frontier into the eternal foundation of an empire that would reign over 3 continents? The saga of the House of Osman, from the 11th century to its majestic zenith in the 16th century, stands as the most formidable architecture of sovereignty ever recorded in the scrolls of time. This was not merely a sequence of military triumphs or a simple expansion of borders, but the birth of a universal sovereign entity that sought to unify the fractured legacies of Rome and the East under one eternal banner. We are witnesses to a transformation where the raw energy of the frontier was refined into a sophisticated machine of statecraft and cultural synthesis that redefined the very essence of human power. This epic journey represents a monumental bridge across the centuries, where the spirit of the steppe met the wisdom of the Mediterranean to create a unique and lasting civilization that dictated the pulse of the world. The rise of this empire was a slow and deliberate ascent that required a profound understanding of both the sword and the pen as they carved their names into the bedrock of history with a conviction that remains unmatched in the annals of global hegemony. To truly grasp the magnitude of this ascension, we must cast our gaze back to the shifting horizons of the 11th century when the Seljuk Turks shattered the Byzantine lines at the gates of Manzikert. This singular event opened the heart of the Anatolian plateau to a new destiny and invited the nomadic tribes of Central Asia to find a home in the cradle of ancient civilizations. In the shadow of crumbling empires and the vacuum left by retreating legions, the first seeds of the Ottoman state were planted within a small borderland principality known as a beylik. These early warriors lived on the rugged edge of the known world, where survival demanded iron discipline and a relentless spirit of conquest that was fueled by the promise of a higher purpose. Their leader, Osman Ghazi, was a man of profound vision who saw a dream of a mighty tree whose roots spread across the continents and whose branches shaded the entire firmament of humanity. This sacred vision became the guiding light for a people who were destined to move from the margins of history to the very center of the global stage as they inherited the mantle of leadership from the fading glories of the old world. The primary engine of this unstoppable expansion was a revolutionary social and military mechanism that replaced the stagnant hierarchies of the medieval world with a dynamic and efficient meritocracy. At the heart of this imperial machine stood the elite Janissary Corps and the system of the Devshirme, which allowed the state to recruit the most capable youths from across its diverse territories. These men were trained with monastic devotion in the arts of war and administration until they became the steel spine of the Sultanate and the most disciplined force on the entire planet. By centralizing power in the hands of the sovereign and rewarding talent over noble birthright, the Ottomans created a state structure that was immune to the feudal infighting that plagued the kingdoms of the West. This mechanism turned the Ottoman state into a living organism that could adapt to any challenge and absorb any culture while maintaining a singular and unwavering focus on its divine mission of expansion. The Ottoman administration was a tapestry of complex bureaucratic layers that ensured the survival of the state through periods of transition and turmoil, ensuring that the flame of the dynasty would never be extinguished by the winds of change. The immediate effect of this administrative and military genius was the tectonic shift of the mid-15th century, when the ancient walls of Constantinople finally fell before the thunder of Ottoman cannons. This was the moment when the Middle Ages truly ended. and the Ottoman Empire established itself as the central sun around which the politics of Europe and Asia would henceforth orbit. By claiming the title of Caesar of Rome and protector of the holy cities of Islam, the sultans transformed their realm into a global hegemon that controlled the vital trade routes between the Silk Road and the Mediterranean. The world watched in awe and terror as the city of Constantine was reborn as Istanbul, the vibrant capital of a new world order where the crescent moon rose over the Golden Horn. This victory secured the empire as the bridge between the Orient and the Occident and forced the nations of Europe to look toward the unknown Atlantic in a desperate search for new paths to the wealth of the East. The fall of the city was not an end, but a magnificent beginning that signaled the arrival of a power that could command the seas and the lands with equal authority and grace. The ultimate result of this long march through history reached its breathtaking climax during the 16th century under the magnificent reign of Suleiman the Lawgiver. During this golden age, the frontiers of the empire reached from the gates of Vienna to the shores of the Persian Gulf and the red sands of North Africa. This was the era of the great architect Sinan, who raised domes of such immense beauty and scale that they seemed to hold the very heavens aloft over the cities of the Balkans and the Levant. The Ottoman peace provided a stable environment where commerce thrived and science flourished and diverse peoples coexisted under a legal framework that was centuries ahead of its time in its complexity. The empire was no longer just a conqueror of lands, but a guardian of civilization and the final arbiter of justice in a world that had long forgotten the meaning of stability. The Ottoman courts and markets became the envy of the world, while their fleets dominated the Mediterranean and Indian Oceans, establishing a maritime presence that challenged the greatest naval powers of the era. As we look back through the mists of time, we see that the story of the Ottomans is a testament to the power of a unified vision and the relentless pursuit of an imperial destiny. Their journey from a small nomadic tribe to a world-spanning caliphate was a path marked by immense sacrifice and unparalleled brilliance in the art of ruling a multicultural world. The legacy of these 5 centuries remains etched into the stones of ancient cities and the cultural fabric of dozens of modern nations that once found sanctuary under the shadow of the House of Osman. We find ourselves humbled by the scale of their ambition and the depth of the mark they left upon the collective memory of our species. For the spirit of an empire never truly sleeps in the dusty pages of the past, but lives on in the monuments and laws that continue to shape our understanding of the world. Each archway and each manuscript from this era tells a story of a people who believed they were the heirs to the earth and the guardians of a sacred flame that would burn for eternity. The archives of history breathe through the stories we tell. We invite you to explore the eternal legacy of the East.